Data's a growth enabler. That's one of the biggest takeaways. Like, so many times I've been able to use data to stop churn and also go after customers. Like being able to quickly gather that data and see customers that are only using one product or one feature or slow down on using a feature. One of the challenges or examples of poor customer data, we were looking at customer usage and every week, because a lot of it was consumption based, but they also had recurring revenue, and the recurring revenue was never consistent. Our customer success managers would be freaking out because they think their customers are way behind, and you dig into it and you're like, oh, well, the data team hasn't got it synced. Well, and then you're like, oh, so you just spent a bunch of resources on something that was a false positive, like not having that good cadence of data. So establishing and maintaining data hygiene, so it's for the whole company, not just revenue recognition or just sales. Like when you do your sales pipeline, you want to make sure your pipeline's really good. You want to do the same thing for post-sales. When you're under 10 million and just at 10 million, having everybody do everything at scale, that doesn't work. You first start with customer journey mapping and then swim lanes of who's responsible. When does the handover from pre-sales to sales happen? Do you have onboarding? When does onboarding get engaged and when do they disengage? So it's not, your onboarding team isn't staying with the customer for 5 years. Process-oriented documentation, processes, really making sure that there's a process for everything basically, and the customer journey is like, oh, if a customer's at risk, we do this. Like having it spelled out. If we have a red account or if a customer's in growth phase, what is the plan to take them to that growth? And also they can adapt to changes. When you're at $10 million or $20 million, there's always going to be a lot of change, and so somebody that can take the time to write it down, document it, and build a process, but also understands that process may not be there tomorrow. So progress over perfection.